Who's good boys? Come here. Sit. Sit. There you go. Yum. You guys are weird dogs, but I'm glad you like carrots. Hey, homesteaders, gardeners, and cooks. My name is Jennifer. Welcome to Miles Away Farm. I have talked in other videos about how picky of an eater I was when I was a kid, and that as an adult, I finally realized that I had told myself I didn't like things when I was 7, and the reality was I really had no idea what I actually liked or didn't like as an adult. And so one of the things that I have made a real effort to do since probably my mid to late 20s is to find a go-to recipe for basically every vegetable that's out there. And I've tried lots of different things, and there are some that I'm just not in love with, no matter what I do, but not very many. I've really found recipes for almost everything that I really like, and this is one of them. So this is a recipe for simple roasted carrots in the oven. And you start out with about 1.5 pounds of carrots. These were carrots from a friend's farm. I didn't grow carrots well this year. I feel like I need just a little bit more oil on there. And so I bought a 25-pound bag of carrots from him, and they were seconds, which means that generally there's something wrong with them cosmetically that means they aren't something most consumers would immediately want to buy. And his seconds are mostly seconds because the carrots are absolutely huge. And so the original recipe called for 1.5 pounds of carrots, and I put 2 carrots on the scale, and it was over 2 pounds. So giant carrots. Took me a while to kind of root around in there to find some that were a little bit smaller. But those carrots are totally fine once they are cut up into chunks. They just take a little bit more work than the traditional long skinny carrot from the grocery store. And so all I'm doing here, I've tossed my carrots with salt and pepper. And you could throw in all different kinds of herbs and fresh garlic if you wanted to in this. I'm keeping this really simple tonight, but feel free to play around with the different herbs that would go on here. So this is 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a 1/2 teaspoon of table salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, give or take. I just kind of eyeballed that. And I am just going to spread these out a little bit on this cookie sheet. It does really help because we're roasting at a pretty high temperature. Helps a lot with cleanup if these are on tin foil. And then I'm going to put a second layer of tin foil over this. And for the first 15 minutes of cooking, I'm going to have it covered in a second layer of tin foil. And what that's going to do is help steam those carrots. So that, because carrots are really dense and it takes a long time to get them to cook well. And if you leave this to the open air and just roast them in the oven, a lot of times what you end up with is they're really done on the outside and starting to actually brown to the point of burning, and the inside is still not fully cooked. And so by throwing a piece of tin foil over this, and I'm not worried that this is perfectly sealed, it's not, but by throwing that tin foil over there for the first 15 minutes, it's going to trap a lot of steam in here, and that is going to help these carrots cook all the way through so that when we take the tin foil off and we finish roasting them, they're going to be done in the middle and beautifully cooked on the outside. So this is a 425-degree oven, and we're going to come back and check that in 15 minutes. So it's been another 15 minutes. Our carrots are starting to look roasty toasty. Beautiful. And so at this point you want to just give everything a good stir. We've got some beautiful browning on the bottom and we want to increase that by stirring everything around and trying to get more of what was on the bottom on the top and vice versa. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on it, but you get the idea. All right. And then from here, depends on how hot your oven is running. I generally like to do about another 15 minutes. I like my carrots quite done with lots of browning if I can get it. So I'm going to just give these another 15 minutes. All right, our timer has gone off for the third time. Oh, look at those beauties. And there you have beautiful roasted carrots. And here's you can see from a toothpick, those are tender all the way through, and that's what you want. So delicious. And there's a lot of variations, obviously, on, I mentioned spice mixes that you can do with this. You can also, the original recipe called for butter. I actually think the butter would burn with 45 minutes in a 425 degree oven, and so I don't use butter when I do this. However, ghee would work quite well because the butter solids have been removed, so it wouldn't burn. But there you go, really simple, absolutely delicious roast carrots that you can make while you're cooking the rest of your dinner. These reheat pretty well too, so you can make a bunch and then, throw them into lunches, throw them into other things that you're cooking for the week. But a brilliant, simple way to eat carrots, to get all that great carotenoid nutrition without a lot of hassle, and so much better than boiled, in my opinion. So this is my go-to recipe for carrots. I hope you enjoy it. If you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.